This is Joe's Corner 76. We will be discussing the human condition. In order to change it, we have to be involved. Tell me, do you think we should trust China? I don't. And here's why. It's an outright dictatorship. They don't operate by the same rules most democracies do. Mark Carney says, we have to take the world as is, not as we would like it to be. I agree we have to take the world as it is. But that doesn't mean we have to embrace a country that will use its economic power to promote its own interests over everything else. Do you remember when the two Michaels were arrested and imprisoned? The two Michaels, Michael Korvig and Michael Spavor, were two Canadian citizens detained in China in December 2018. China accused them of espionage, but their arrests were widely seen by Canadians and its allies as retaliation for Canada's arrest of Huawei executive Meng Wanzhou. Meng Wanzhou was put under house arrest in a luxurious setting, and she was able to travel outside. The two Michaels were held for over 1,000 days in China, and their treatment was described as harsh and politically motivated. They were released the same day that Meng Wanzhou returned to China. They steal our industrial and intellectual secrets and use them to further their economic growth without any respect for copyright laws or patents. Nortel Networks was once Canada's largest technology and communications company. They filed for bankruptcy in 2009. Investors lost millions. Around that time, Huawei came out of nowhere to become a giant technology and telecommunications company. How? Huawei was not officially blamed for the collapse, but there is strong evidence that Huawei benefited from years of cyber espionage against Nortel. Nortel was systematically hacked for a decade, and the attacks were traced to Shanghai. Attackers accessed top-level executive mails and R&D files, including optical networking and switching technology. Election interference. Multiple credible Canadian sources like CSIS, a federal public inquiry, and major media investigations have confirmed that China attempted to interfere in the 2019 and 2021 elections. A federal inquiry heard that China tried to drive voters away from specific conservative candidates, including Kenny Chiu. Tactics involved disinformation, social media pressure, and community-level influence networks. Interference did affect the information environment, and it may have influenced specific writings. Why did China do this? To support specific candidates they think are friendly towards them, to undermine critics of China and influence Chinese Canadian communities, and try to shape Canada's foreign policy. Canada is and has harassed Chinese Canadians. Human rights groups, Safeguard defenders say China operated more than 50 overseas police stations, including 3 in the Greater Toronto area. They were not official police buildings, what were allegedly run through community organization. Their purpose was to monitor and pressure Chinese Canadian citizens, trying to coerce individuals to return to China and gathering information on local Chinese communities. The RCMP has repeatedly confirmed it is investigating reports of illegal activity by these alleged stations. The RCMP has stated publicly that the specific physical locations identified in 2022 and 23 are no longer operating alleged police stations, but they are continuing to monitor for activities for any new operations. Canada has repeatedly found certain Chinese products were being dumped, which means they were sold below fair market value and below cost. Some relevant examples: truck bodies, unarmored building cable, thermal-molded fiber tableware, steel products. Canadian manufacturers of these products have reported injuries from low-priced Chinese products. These actions are part of a broader global pattern of trade friction involving Chinese export pricing. When dumping occurs, duties are imposed to level the playing field. Do you think Mark Carney is going to change this? The Canadian government originally went along with the US and imposed a 100% tariff on Chinese electrical car imports. China imposed steep tariffs on canola oil, canola meal, canola seeds, peas, other agricultural products. A separate report notes China's new tariffs included a 100% levy on Canadian canola oil and meal, part of the broader retaliation. China has also put significant tariffs on Canadian seafood like lobster, crab, shrimp, and other aquatic products. Carney negotiated to allow 49,000 Chinese electrical vehicles at a 6.1% tariff instead of 100%. What did China give us in return? From March 1, 2026 to December 31st, 2026, tariffs were suspended on seafood. Tariffs were removed from peas and canola oil meal, and canola seed had tariffs reduced from 100% to 15%. Beef imports were resumed. After December 31st, 2026, all of this will have to be renegotiated with China. Is this import deal good for us? Canada import controls on Chinese electric-made vehicles begin on March 2026, and they are structured around 6 months quota periods, after which the government will review and may change these rules. The system is subject to review, but there is no definite end date for the import plan. Tell me, is this a balanced deal? What are the perceived benefits from importing Chinese vehicles? Allowing Chinese-made electrical vehicles into Canada is seen both as an economic disruptor and a geopolitical risk. The public conversation in Canada shows this as a mixture of consumer benefits and concerns for our auto industries. For consumers, Chinese brands outperform ours, lower prices, more choices, but we should know that China subsidizes production costs. For the Canadian auto market, uncertainty for Canadian automakers, since these imports could hollow out our auto market. National concerns that data could be collected on us from connected autos. Problems with the US market. If we depend on the Chinese supply line and their dominance in battery production and minerals, that's a problem. Do you think we got a good deal long term on China's heavily subsidized electrical vehicles? You know, China has a stranglehold on rare earth metals. They control approximately 90% of global rare earth processing and 94% of sintered permanent magnet production. Any rare earth mined outside China must be sent to them for processing, and we pay a premium price. We have to break the stranglehold by mining and processing the rare earth materials here in Canada. Canada has an estimated rare earth oxides of 15.2 million tons, which puts us among the top countries globally in terms of in-ground rare earth resources in both light and heavy sources, and they're spread over a number of Canadian regions. These resources are vital to manufacturing and defense industries. Mr. Carney, get the process to mine and process these minerals here. All of our allies need them. And the economic benefit far outweighs poor deals with China. Why don't you put Canada first? Use the power of the federal government to get oil and gas pipelines built. We need to make money for Canada, not just having you spend it. Mr. Carney, you talk about realpolitik. Get a deal with the U.S. They are and will be our biggest trading partners and strongest ally. Trump will not be around forever. But you know, the U.S. will still be there. And yes, expand our trade with Europe, England, Japan, South Korea, Australia, India, and South Asian countries. But sign firm deals, not announcements. I would really like everyone to think about this. Are you happy with us cozying up to China? You can follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube at Joe's Corner 76 and X at JPhilosophy76. You can hear me on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple at Joe's Corner 76. Please hit the subscribe button for my YouTube channel at Joe's Corner 76.